friends, it's me, Tanya, and I will be discussing about matrices. This includes its definition, special types of matrices, and the different operations that could be done. A matrix is an ordered rectangular array of numbers arranged in rows and columns. They can be described in terms of its size m by n, where m is the number of rows, while n is the number of columns. The individual values in the matrix are called entries. An entry can be denoted as Aij, where I is its row number and j is its column number. There are different kinds of matrices. The first one is a zero matrix, which is a matrix whose entries are all zero. Next, we have the column matrix, which is a matrix with only one column, and the row matrix, which has only one row. Another special kind of matrix is the square matrix, where the number of columns is equal to the number of rows. There are special kinds of square matrices. The diagonal matrix is when all the entries from the top left to the bottom right of the square matrix is any number, and the rest are all zeros. If the number on the diagonal is the same number, however, it is called a scalar matrix. If the number on the diagonal is 1, it's called the identity matrix. A square matrix can also be either lower triangular or upper triangular. The lower triangular happens when all the entries Aij, where I is less than j, is equal to 0, while the upper triangular is when Aij, where I is greater than j, is equal to 0. Two matrices can be compared by its equality. The matrices are only equal if they are of the same number of rows, same number of columns, and all the corresponding values in each matrix are the same. In this example, A is equal to C, but A is not equal to B. You can manipulate matrices using operations. First up is addition. Addition can only be done with matrices that have the same dimensions. It is simply done by adding the corresponding values of the matrices involved. For example, you have these matrices you want to add. These values are what you want to add, so you get the sum. Next is scalar multiplication. Scalar multiplication is the multiplication of a real number to a matrix. This is done by multiplying the real number to each entry in the matrix, like so. A way to express real numbers in matrix form is the scalar form. So if you have 3 as the real number to be multiplied to the matrix, you can express it as a scalar matrix and perform multiplication, which we will be discussing next. Before moving on, however, here are the properties of addition and multiplication for matrices that you might want to take note of. Feel free to pause the video to read through that. For multiplication, given matrices A having I by j dimensions and B having j by k dimensions, a j by k matrix AB will result from the multiplication. It seems vague from that explanation. Let me give you an example. Let's put entries for matrix A and matrix B. Next is to multiply all corresponding terms and putting the products inside a new matrix. And lastly, add all the products that belong in the same entry. We can also transpose a matrix. The transpose of a matrix is a new matrix whose rows are the columns of the original. In other words, the rows become the columns and the columns become the rows, as shown. Easy, right? Here comes the tricky part though. The inverse of a matrix. It's a weird concept to divide something by a matrix, so multiplying the inverse of the matrix is a better way to put it. A property of an inverse of a matrix is that if you multiply it to its matrix, the result is an identity matrix. It's kinda like how numbers multiplied by their reciprocals become 1. Note that the matrix must be a square matrix in order for it to have an inverse. There are ways to get the inverse of a matrix, such as the shortcut for 2x2 matrices, the augmented matrix method, and the adjoint method, but that will have to wait for the next video. And there we are! These are all the basics that you need to know about matrices, and I hope you learned a lot. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to leave a like and press that subscribe button. See you in the next video. Bye! Punta ka ulit dun.
Ha?
Punta ka sa ilalim ulit. Ewo!
Wait, video ba yun? Oh my God!
Hello! Ito na yung transpose. Nagalaw yung whiteboard.